Hello, good afternoon. Monday, the 2nd of October.
Mondays.
Let's hope October's better than September.
Pretty Mondays, eh?
For Everton. It was Halloween on Saturday at Goodison. Well, certainly Fright night, or Fright afternoon, wasn't it? Everton beaten again at home. 4th home defeat on the run. 4th home defeat of the season. We did score a goal though, albeit Bar decided to kill that moment as well. As much as
There's no joy in that, was there?
And when you see, Dominic King, who is of massive red persuasion, slating the decision, saying, why did it take 3.5 minutes when everyone could see within 3 seconds he was onside, looking for a way to disallow the goal? It tells you everything where VAR is, and that was before Liverpool are there.
That was before the big one.
The big one. That
the
has
one
led
that'll
to
change
unprecedented fallout, despite this happening to so many other clubs and happening to
We'll
Everton.
talk more about that on More Than a Game.
We will. But yeah, don't get me started on Anthony Taylor's display at the weekend. But another home defeat, Ped, and it's the saddest thing about it. I mean, if I could have got on the pitch and got to Dyche, I would have told them a few choice words. No, a few choice words, because my boy was devastated at the final whistle. But for me, I was just like, that's what we do. We play at home.
Yeah.
But I popped on social media because someone had sent me a message and said, and then I noticed that found the thing for it, for the reason. And it was good because it's been clarified to him. So it's not Sean Dyche.
No.
It's not the fact that he can't win games.
No.
It's the fans.
It's the fans.
It's always the fans.
It's always the fans.
The home, and notably people who don't go to match.
Yeah, it's always the fans.
Or travel over and blame the fans.
It's always the fans.
So it's
always the fans. The fans who've been there through thick and thin. Who were there on Wednesday night at Villa, who were there at Brentford last week. It's always it's the same people, not like different people, It's the same. It's the same people. So that is the biggest bollocks, by the way. And you can clip this and you can put this anywhere you want. That is the biggest load of bollocks I've ever heard in my life. It is peddled out by people who do not have a fucking clue about what's going on. The same as when people throw XG round and then want to quote tweet you because they think they know, because their only existence as a football fan is to watch football via XG. It's as simple as that, right? So this idea of XG being the beholden to everybody, it's not, right? I understand what it's for, right? I've had many conversations with people like Andy who it's part of their, their what they do, but you can't hide behind it. You can't hide behind losing games of football and throwing a stat up. No. And it's the same with right, I want to say this dead easy, right? If you have not got the bollocks to play in front of a football crowd that expects you to win at home, then you should not be an Everton player. The same way if you're a manager like Frank Lampard who thinks that going for a win in the last minute shouldn't happen or there's an expectation. If you have not got the bollocks to stand in front of 40,000 fans who are unhappy, or 3,000 who are against you, then how are you going to win games of football? How are you ever going to? When are you going to be able to take that expectation and win things like a cup final or God forbid ever challenge for anything ever? How are you ever going to do that? It's a load of bollocks.
The one thing I don't get is we've done all right away in games.
Yeah,
where everyone's against you. So how, when people aren't against you at home, because there might be a groan of you, and I'll be honest, I sat there on Saturday. I couldn't sit here honestly and go, Goodison was toxic on Saturday, because it wasn't. Goodison was silent on Saturday. So if you can't play in front of the Luton fans were brilliant. I mean, the team was one of the most, without being too disrespectful, they hadn't spent any money, so I wasn't expecting anything else. They were a limited side, but they all worked the bollocks off them, and their fans were brilliant. As in noisy, or there was a few bad Tory shouts, but in general, their fans were brilliant all the way through. Didn't stop. Evertonians, if anything, if there's any criticism, and I don't criticise them, it's just the fact that we're quiet. Yeah. But we're quiet because there's nothing to get excited about.
If there's any criticism of them, because I might as well just throw everything out there now. If there's any criticism, it's clapping the fucking fans, the players off at the end of the game.
But I don't get when they boo.
They boo.
But then they clap.
And then they come and they go, oh, I better clap because here's Michaelenko. Oh, and Onana's done a lap of the pitch. Fuck off. Go away. Go down the tunnel. And after the game, keep your fucking mouth shut.
That's more the players than
Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I don't care who it is. We've got a game to put at night. No, you had that game to put it right. You had that game to put it right from all the other performances that you've done at home that have been crap.
He was good, though.
No, he was good. And I'm not having a go at him personally. But everyone knows this, talking the talk.
What do we do? Hang on. What do we do, though? Say, it's... I'll be honest, if Moshiri was still at control of the football club, Sean Dyche would have been sacked by now, because he's sacked managers for way less than what's going on right now. Right, but there isn't. So forget it. Like, park the Dyche thing for a minute.
Yeah.
What do we do? Because at home, we've lost 13 of the last 19 home games. It's absolutely disgraceful.
I've never known
We've scored
like it in my life.
8 goals at home under the manager. Newcastle got that in a game last week. We don't look like we're capable of winning at home. We have these chances that people... It's not like we go through, cut a team open, square it, and we've got a tie. There was none of that. It's hopeful balls which ricochet. That's fine. That's
against
fine.
Poor sides, by the way.
They were poor.
Don't forget, we didn't lay a glove on the only decent team we've played at Goodison this season.
No, we didn't. But what do we? How do we change it? Because
only the manager and the players can change it. We've done the bus welcomes. We've done all the flags. We've done the blue.
Do you think the ownership thing has got anything to do with it, or is it not? Is that not coming into it at the moment?
I think everything comes into it. There's a massive frustration at this football club. Of course there is. Fans have been hung out to dry for ages. We've tried everything, and now we're at the point where it's like, well, what do you want? What do you really want us to do? The fellas in the crowd, they've both come to the game, so we know that's going to happen,
isn't it?
That's going to happen. All the stuff about that is quite frankly horrendous. If you read anything about it, so that gets fans nervous. So fans don't know what they're walking into. Of course, some fans are going to think about it and have open minds about it. Fine, I understand that. But you go the game. That game on Saturday, you were speaking to me before the game about it, and I was just like, and I think me and Jack said this on the previous, like, if we can just get through this game, we know it's not going to be easy. I mean, all this shouts are like 5-0 and stuff. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. We knew it was like one of those games that we just had to get a win on Saturday, and they failed. And they failed because the manager set them up to fail, as far as I'm concerned. The team was so negative the way he set them up. This manager, right? So he's got a James Garner problem. It's as simple as that. He's got a James Garner problem. Yeah. The problem is he wants to play him, but hasn't got the bollocks to take anyone out of midfield to play him in it. It's as simple as that. He has not got the bollocks to take someone out of midfield, so he wedges him in on the right with a fella behind him who ain't going to get.
Well, why didn't he just wedge him in at right back?
Well,
because he doesn't want to play Patterson. It's clear at the moment. Ashley Young is not good enough. If anything, he's better at left back. If anything, right? So why didn't to keep James Garner in the side, which is fine. If you don't want to move one of your midfield three, because you think we showed again once Garner went off second half, we were fucked. As far as I'm concerned, second half didn't have anything in midfield.
But we didn't have any intensity.
No, there was nothing in midfield, and that was with James Garner in the middle of midfield. But you want to play him because he's been playing well. I get that, brilliant. But the onus is on you at home. So why don't you just play him right back? Because he would have overlapped and give us something. But Ashley Young was never going past Jack Harrison.
Why don't you just have some bollocks and just play in midfield if that's where he wants to play him, though? And you're right, he could have played him at right back, but he hasn't got the bollocks to put him in a position where he's going to do some damage. There should have been, as far as I'm concerned, Dan Juma should have started the game. He's obviously got a problem with Dan Juma because he came on last, so he's obviously got some kind of issue with him. But he should have started Dan Juma on one side, and he should have started either McNeil or Harrison on the other side, and that's it. Because they play 5 at the back. Simple as that.
Why didn't we just match them?
So why are we trying to, like, where was the Corey playing? Where was McNeil playing?
Corey was on the left.
Exactly.
McNeil was in the middle.
If you look at his heat map's all on the left. So he's on the left. So the manager hasn't got the bollocks. So he sticks us out there and he's like, well, and all this about like all the shots we had, well, most of them are from outside the box. But and then
we only have 5 on target.
And then it comes down to the players. James Garner, just smash it. Just smash your chance.
First time.
Hit the goalkeeper. It's just, I'll just bend one. So as far as I'm concerned, he set them up. He set them up the wrong way, and then when it didn't work, he went to 4-4-2. Like their centre-backs haven't played all the time against big lads in the Championship who, when you go long, it's food and drink for them.
No, but that's okay if you then getting wide and putting crossing.
Exactly.
We just hoofing it.
We weren't. It was nonsense. And that all comes down to the manager.
Zach says 23 shots at goal and 70% possession. Both our strikers on the pitch, both couldn't finish. I struggle to understand how that's Deitch's fault.
But then if you struggle to don't understand it, then I can't help you. Because we win games comfortably with 30%. That's the point, isn't it? You can have all the ball you want. The last 2 away games, the opposition have had the ball. It's quality of chances.
I think there is a... Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, it's quality of chances. It's being clean through. It's making good. The goalie did not have a save to make second. Their goalie did not have one save he made from a block Dominic Calvert-Lewin shot from outside the box. Is that going for it? Is that so you're 2-1 down, you've just scored before half time, you're going into the second half, Jack Harrison's coming on, everyone knows that, see him warming up at half time, and you have one shot on target, which isn't a difficult shot for the keeper to save, in the entire second half shooting to the Gladys Street. Is that positive? That's not positive. That's crap. Simple as that.
John Vance says Deitch will always go for experience. Hence Young and Guy start, but Patterson and Dan Juma should have started. Negative hoofball.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly...
You do know.
No, I don't. When I watch the players, them players were clearly better than every Luton player. Clearly. You could see it just watching the game with your eyes. Yeah, we've got no clue when we come forward. I don't think you can set up the way we set up away from home, at home. We can't. Yeah. The core is, in effect, you may as well not play at home. I said this last week. Is it a case for not playing at Goodison? He's dreadful. Yeah. Away, he's great because we can sit and he can just play off the strike and he can break from midfield.
In the second half, he was playing as a striker. But what the manager basically did was, instead of going, this is not working, I need to put wings on both sides and create chances, he just went, well, we'll just go long. And it's great saying, well, it's the play. Yeah, of course it's the players missing the chances, but it's the manager who puts the players on the pitch. It will always be the manager. You can moan and moan and moan about players all you want. The manager sets them up. They train all week. They get coached all week by the manager and the coaches. It will never not be the manager or the coaches. It's his job to make them better. It's his selection.
I remember speaking to a couple of Villa fans last year.
Exactly.
And they were telling me, they told me, I didn't necessarily agree because I looked at the front players and was like, no, I'm not coming. But they were saying it's one of the worst Villa squads they've had.
Yeah.
Which was when Gerrard was in charge. They were getting beat. They looked awful. You were looking going, these actually could be interrupted all over the place. Yeah. They got Emery in. Now, you just bounced Brighton 6 at the weekend. Okay, Brighton, undone themselves as well, I get that, but he went in and changed. Now, they have added some better players as well, but he's gone in and changed it. This is what Deitch has to do. He's got to, and it's Woan and it's Stone, the three of them. You've got to come up with a way. You can't go, it's all right at Brentford, and it's great because they were great at Brentford, and they were great at Villa, and they were praised.
And we've been good away from home.
Away from home, fine, but you cannot continue this. But this is 7 defeats in 8 at home. So these, people, I know people negatively talk about Everton's players, the crap and all this. The Luton's players aren't better than Everton. They've just won a Premier League game the weekend. Yeah. Burnley's players aren't better than Everton's. They've got 1 point. Sheffield United's players aren't better than Everton's. Wolves' players aren't better. They're not. And if you think so, then you're clueless.
You're on the flip side, because I can see people defending the manager and having a go with the players. But it's still the manager's fault then. Because if you've got a group of players, you have to find a manager that improves them. It's simple.
Do you know what does my head in with that argument, though? Last week when we won at Brentford, loads of people just come out and praise the manager. Loads.
So it wasn't the players.
So it wasn't the players last Saturday. Yeah, it was the manager, but it's not the manager this weekend. It's the players. Yeah. So which one? I've got no problem with it, right? But which one is it? Which one is it? Is it always the players? If it is, and I'm a strong believer in most times it is always the players. But then when I sat here a year ago and everyone was slating Frank Lampard, get rid of him, even though he was capable of winning back-to-back Premier League games, by the way, which Sean Dyche hasn't done at the moment. But hang on. Go on, sorry. People were having a go at Lampard. He's this, he's that. Yeah, at Goodison, we were quite attacking and we tried to win every game. We weren't great, and by the end, his record said he had to be sacked. The same with Benitez.
Also, can I just flip this on its head a minute? We're overthinking this about the attacking side of things. What about the defensive side of things? Anyone who's in that ground, by the way, anybody knew they were scoring from a corner.
Oh, Slater.
Oh, anybody.
Because the first two corners, the lad had a free header. Yeah. I went, these are going to score.
Everybody was in there, knew what was going to happen. Yeah. And we're giving...
I don't think you see that on telly, the ones who are defending. The ones who watch on telly, I don't think you see how easy it is.
Soon as Ashley Young and what looked like Toffee letting the ball go out, because that's what it looked like to me.
Well, what was great was that ball was going over his head and Tarkowski had it, so why did Young, on the stretch, decide to back head it out instead of just leaving it and spinning back and that?
So everybody knew what was happening. Everyone can see it. Yeah. And what happens? They get, okay, it ends up being... But it's not lucky, because they're like, it's a great header on, it's the bar. I don't know what Ashley Young's doing.
Man, he just cleared it.
I don't know what he's doing.
Trying to kill it on the line.
Don't know what he's doing. And then the free kick. Why has Mykolenko got two players? And why is he not marking their number?
No, but he should just be marking the striker.
No, but why has he got two players? And why hasn't he as a player,
got the
authority to go, hey, come
shouldn't
here.
Have the authority, should be saying to McNeil, you get here, because Dwight McNeil's just like that, like he was for 83 minutes on Saturday.
He's been told to set up like that for some reason. Because what's worse is if you go further up the line, we've got two players marking nobody.
No, but on this one, I don't believe Sean Dyche has said you can leave the striker on his own.
I do.
We
live in an era, mate, where set pieces are worked out to the... There's no way on earth, on any earth, that Mykolenko's got two players and it's not pre-planned. It's just not. Just no, because if he's standing there and he knows he's got two players, he'd be screaming at someone else. And
I find that hard to believe. You might be right. That's what I'm saying. I find that hard to believe.
That's football.
What I find more hard to believe is why he hasn't screamed at McNeil to get back. That's what I don't understand.
And that's what tells me it's pre-planned. It's pre-planned for him to have two men because they're not expecting it to go there. And the lad, great finish to him, and we're 2-0 down. And nobody's talking about the defending. They're just talking about the missed chances. So the fella... So this is my issue, right? This is my issue. It's mentality. We've got a manager who thinks he's managing Burnley, who thinks every game at home is a scruffy dogfight to win points, which it is now, because that's what he's created. And... We've got to, people, listen, I don't care whether people think I'm right or wrong. In modern football, everything is done to the nth degree. It's not Sunday League. You don't just go get a man. That's not how football works anymore. Everything is done to the nth degree. If Mykolenko was supposed to have one man and someone was supposed to have, why isn't he screaming at that person? Football doesn't work like that. When they talk about the details, it's all about every last detail, set pieces, everything. Otherwise, and it's not a defensive lap by Mykolenko, by the way, because who's he supposed to mark? Because the person in front of him, no one's marking him. And no one's marking. So what's Mykolenko supposed to do? It's not a defence. Everyone knows I'm not a massive fan of Mykolenko, but how is he supposed to mark two men at the same time? How is he supposed to do that? So, utter bollocks. That comes down to fine details. That comes down to sorting that out. And if it hasn't been sorted out, guess whose fault it is? The manager's. Because that's his job. So, if he sends them out to just all stand there in a line, then that's the manager's fault. Simple as that. Any way you cut it, it's the manager's fault. It's as simple as that. So, he has to now understand that he can't be set. He got to look at Everton and go, he keeps on talking about the fans and this and that, big club, everyone has this expectation. Do you have an expectation to win games? Because I don't see it. You know, we've only scored one goal in any game with Sean Dyche. That's a disgrace. And I don't understand. I just don't understand how this is acceptable. And that's not me saying sack him. I just don't understand how this is acceptable or how people find this acceptable. Everything is supposed to be done. Everything is supposed to be done to the nth degree. So, if Michalenko's got 2 men, that's something they should have seen beforehand when they're prepping the players. Simple as that. So, you can, if you want to, you can defend Dyche all you want. Go and defend his record. Go on. Let's hear you defend his record. Very interesting. With different players, whatever. Defend his record and come back to me. Because next week it could be worse than Mike Walker's. Mike Walker's the worst manager we've ever had. So come and defend him to me. Because I'd love to hear what you've got to say.
I think the issue is, regardless of the manager, is how these players... the biggest surprise I've got, it's not missing chances, right? But I don't think you can keep saying, well, we create loads of chances and we don't score. I don't buy that as a thing. I really don't, because there should be an hour's finishing every day. Then if you're that bad in front of goal, and I know for a fact there isn't an hour's finishing every day, so let's just park that there for a minute. The biggest thing I thought we'd get under this man, this was what blew me away with Rafa Benitez, as in blew me away in a negative thing, was I thought we would be defensively tight. So if Saturday, if we missed a host of chances and it ends 0-0, I'd be like, well, you know what, at least we're tight. He's created this tight unit. Jordan Pickford doesn't keep clean sheets. When was that? Bournemouth was the last clean sheet he had, which was in a game we had to win, which was our only win at Goodison, by the way, since March. But we just don't keep clean sheets. So what are we doing at the back? We're all saying Branthwaite and Tarkowski are decent defenders, aren't we? We all would say that. Okay, you can argue over the left back all you want and say whether he's good, bad, whatever, right? And we can say the same at the right back. Are they the problems then, the full backs? But it's not as if every goal we concede from full back positions, so we can't even say that. A lot of goals we've conceded have been off set pieces, which I thought we would be really good at, and we're not. And I don't know why. I don't know if that Morris, who won the first couple of headers, was a threat, then Tarkowski should have gone man to man with him. Because you can go all day, you can say, well, we've set up as in zonal. I mean, it looks part zonal, part man to man to me, but I don't know. Just saying what I see. The lad got the run on us twice. They've headed one over the bar, which he should have done better. Was it him or the six? One of them. It was a clean free.
The lad who scored the first goal got the first header.
Yeah. Right, free header. And you're like, there's your warning there. So let's limit these to, to not giving silly fouls away, whatever. And it's that, and it's those areas that we haven't sorted out. That's a big issue to me. It's a really big issue to me. The fact that you can't defend someone who can't set a team up to play at the place where you're supposed to garner most of your points. We're supposed to get most of our wins at Goodison because we're not a great football team. So to win away, we'd have to have a day like they had at the weekend, which was a little, ride your luck a little bit, but work much harder than the opposition. And when you get a couple of opportunities, be able to take them. I don't know whether we can do that. We wouldn't go to the gulf between the two sets of players at the weekend. We wouldn't go to someone with that gulf. So that gulf, I think, between Everton's team and Luton's team, to me, would be akin to like us and.
But
Liverpool's probably too high, but
team, though, weren't they?
Us and Villa, say, Brighton, say, maybe. Into, I don't know though, but say it was us and Liverpool, we wouldn't go to Anfield. It's a bad thing, but and get back, and they have all the ball and all that, and nick a win like that, because we wouldn't be that intense. So at home, we have to create something where these teams find it difficult to play against. But there's no wave of attacks. That's what worries me. We're not tight at the back, and there's no way of playing. I was listening to Ben Mee talking about the difference with Brentford and Burnley, and he was like, they work on things in the final third, where at Burnley it was a bit more off the cuff. I don't think you can be off the cuff anymore in the final third. I really don't. I think it has to be processes all the time. So that's what they've got to try and create. But why haven't we created it yet? Why are we in October and we haven't won a home? In fact, we haven't got a point at home yet.
And listen, I'm not saying the manager should be sacked. I'm just asking for standards. Where is the standards gone at this football club? It's something I said after.
There isn't any.
Something I said after the Fulham game of a club, and I'm not like a club another club coming to Goodison and just turning us over, and they're just being a shrug of the shoulders by everybody. Where have the standards gone at this football club? You know, I know in the modern age we're not seen as this big club. No. But surely we've got to have those standards for ourselves. If no one's going to surely if as fans we don't keep those standards ourselves, then what's the point? And I just don't see where this manager talks like, I imagine, like he's like David Brent. It's all just waffle. You don't like. There's no. When you look at him, he never like. He keeps his calm. He might as well be AI the way he just talks. There's never any emotion comes out of him. And but people might like that, people might not like it. But I just think for us as a fan base, we have to have some kind of. We have to start creating standards for ourselves. Otherwise, you know, what's the point? The last two owners have ripped all the standards out of the actual club. The fellas who are taking over, I don't think they're going to add any standards back to the football club. So we must be the holders of the standards of this football club. And when I see people talk about results like this, well, it was because he missed the chances, and it's because, you know, Mikalenko shouldn't have had two men, and or, you know, should have took responsibility. It's not holding the people who actually have the power to do things at this football club, and that is the manager. So there should be more pressure on him, and then the journalist should be able to take that pressure into a press conference and say, you know, the fans are not happy with this. What the hell is going on with the set pieces? Why you can see what you just said is absolutely right about that. So they've got a couple of big lads that I imagine if you watch all the videos of them from set pieces probably do all the damage, and yet we've let them 3 times get in our box and get the first contact on the ball. Why isn't someone like, why aren't we throwing, you know, why isn't the manager told Tarkowski, you're our best header, you mark him and that's the end of it. You're man to man on him, and yeah, and you look after him and that's the end of it. Forget zones and all, but it's not, it's all just, and by the way, this is not an overreaction. This is not, well, we won 2 last week. This is 4 games at home against 3 bang average teams. This is 3 wins since Sean Dyche came in at home. It's 3 wins.
3, yeah.
3 wins. 3
Arsenal,
wins.
Leeds, and no, 4.
4 wins.
Arsenal, Leeds, Brentford, and Bournemouth.
4 wins. 4 wins. With what? How many goals he scored?
8 at home.
That's a disgrace.
Never scored more than 1 in a home game.
That's a disgrace. Where's the stand? You know, I know it's a different thing, but, you know, Rangers are 3rd. They expect to be 1st or 2nd. Manager gone. Bingoed. Simple as that. Got beat at home by a team that we felt should win. I know, but it's this thing again, though. We have to hold the standards of this football club, and we're just watching it again and again and again.
But it's been dripped. That
has to stop, though.
That's been dripped.
That has to stop.
People,
too many people go to match bars and they just stand there, and then, you know, you're 2-0 down and it's an absolute disgrace. Just get behind them. Get behind what? We can see what's happening. The manager should be making subs in the first half and then clapping the play. What are you clapping the players up for? They were a disgrace. What? I'm not calling for it, but you know what? Fucking hell, another country,
but the thing about it, these, you know, some of these fans defending it were the ones who said Moyes wasn't good enough, and yeah. David Moyes' teams were always battling near the top end of the table, and it's got worse, though. The standards have been eroded over the last few years. People have just accepted it and accepted it and accepted it.
To the point that
so now you can accept. Now the fans, you know, we were sat there piss wet through it the weekend, got in the game, drenched, and watched that. And listen, if we'd have been winning our home games and we got beat Saturday, you'd just have to go, well, it was one of those days, wasn't it? We missed a host of chances, 2 bad goals to give away. We were crap. Bad day at the office. Turn up, let's do it again. It isn't that. You've got to look bigger than that. In isolation, I said this when Fulham beat us. In isolation, you go, God, You feel sick because you look at a game and go, that was a game you should have won, and you didn't. But you can't keep saying it. If it keeps happening, what do? You just go, oh, well, because that's what I'm seeing. Some people's, not everyone.
By the way, it's not about getting angry. It's about having standards. It's about not just shrugging your shoulders because we got beat again. I don't care if people think we're a toxic fan base. I really don't. I couldn't care less.
I don't think we are.
No,
though.
I know, but I don't care if people think we are.
It's 28 years since we've won a trophy.
I don't care about the booing stuff. I don't care about people thinking we're getting angry. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Let fucking Paddy Power make as many adverts or jokes or whatever they want out of us. I don't care. Right? It's about holding these people to standards, and we haven't done for years, and that's why our club's been running to the ground, because our fan base have allowed this to happen. They just...
I don't know.
No, they have, Baz, it has to be said. They just, far too many of our fan base just shrug it off, and it's another defeat, and if we'd only done this, and we've got next week. Next week is an absolute must-win. If we don't beat Bournemouth, he should be sacked. Whether he is or not, whether he will or not, different kettle of fish. If he can't beat Bournemouth, he should be sacked. It's as simple as that.
You know that I'm normally quite optimistic, but I look at that Bournemouth game and I just think, I don't like the way I feel today. I think Bournemouth will beat us because they're miles better than Luton and they work hard. So I just look and go, what are we gonna come up with?
They'll be open a bit more. They'll be a bit more open.
Maybe, but they haven't won a game. Ariola's not won a game yet, so
no.
You know what normally happens. Now, listen, by Thursday and Friday, I'll be thinking we're going to win 3-1 or something. I'll be more positive. But today, I'm just looking at the whole thing, going, I just don't know what we're doing because I've gone the match a long time, and I've never ever seen Everton lose this many home games.
But
ever.
Can I ask, did you get angry on... I believe you did get very angry on Saturday.
I was angry because Zach was upset. If he would have not been with me, I'd have just gone, what do we expect with what we're seeing?
But isn't that the point, though? There's far too many people going to match now, and it's just... And I'm not having a go with the people, by the fans, by the way, because it's been cut. It's been death by 1,000 cuts. It's not something that's happened overnight.
This isn't all Sean Dyche, by the way.
No,
the club has been managed into this state.
Of course,
once they picked Benitez, the downgrade of our club began. And COVID, we were coming out of COVID, and we allowed for. I don't know how we could have stopped it. To be fair, people tried to, but he picked Benitez, and that was the day the club died because it was a manager. Nothing really. Rafa was Rafa, whatever he is, but. He come in and changed things immediately and sacked people, got rid of people like Luca Dean and whatever. And we all started feeling that little bit of disconnect. It got even more. Don't forget, we were coming out of COVID, which was horrific. And since then, it's got worse. And that's why Frank Lampard was given a big backing, because he come in and he tried to get it. And Lampard knew that he had to try to get the crowd going at Goodison. And he tried that. He just wasn't very good away from home either. And therefore, what he was trying to do wasn't working. But then everything's just got worse and worse and worse. Right. But we've changed a lot of players. So when people go, it's all on the players, you go, well, hang on. we keep changing the players, and you can't tell me they're all crap. Anthony Gordon's getting talked about like he's a snip going to Newcastle. Well, were any of us that bothered? Alex Iwobi will be getting talked up by Fulham soon. But people that bother, people going, it's a good deal. Fine, no problem. Players will come and go. There's no issue with that. But Everton are better than what they are showing. But I just don't think you can keep losing home games. There's something needs to happen. So we need to come up with a new approach at home, a new way of playing. Away from home, I've got no problem. Everton can go and bore the life out of 19 opposition fans all season, as far as I'm concerned, and try to nick a goal. No issue with how we play away. None. I've never had an issue with it because I understand it's difficult. If you had a great team, you'd get on the front foot and try to be. Of course. But we haven't. But you've got to also put building blocks in place to grow. Nothing's growing at the moment. It just feels like we're in a state of rudderless limbo where you're just looking at it going, well, I don't know what's happening. Because where's the plan? We've got a ground being built there, but there's no vision for it. We're in limbo with the owner. The manager doesn't seem right now to be able to get a tune out of us at home. The players don't seem capable of ignoring even what the manager's saying and getting on and doing your bleeding job as a professional, or taking everything the manager says on board and delivering. It can't be. Don't blame the fans at Goodison, because that's bollocks. Because like Ped said before, what happens when we go to Old Trafford then? There's 74,000 booing us. And is that written off? We go to Anfield and they're opening the big stand, aren't they? The first game, so there's going to be 61,000 there. So we've got no chance then, have we? Because our players can't boo the players, because they can't play. They've had it then, haven't they? 6, 7, 8-0 will that one be? You can't make those excuses. But you're right. But I'm right now. It's the most helpless I've ever felt as an Evertonian. Because I look and I go, I can't blame fans for going, this is where we are. And fans feeling sick.
But no, what?
No, you can't, but I'm talking about me.
Going back to that point you said before, though, I don't actually think the ground was that bad.
No, it isn't. That's what I mean. It's just quiet.
It was just quiet.
So what I'm saying is, I can't blame fans for being quiet. You sat there, piss wet through. The Gladys Street are standing up. There's some nonsense announcements on the tannoy. And people sit down, or you will be at jet. Well, the whole Gladys Street aren't getting thrown out, are they? So
and maybe, just maybe, if you'd put in the safe standing when we fucking told you to, it wouldn't be an issue anyway, would it?
Right, but that's going on. So I don't have a go at the fans for being quiet, because we're all there going, when does this end?
Yeah.
We're getting punched every week. Exactly. When does it finish? Do you know what I mean? And then on the flip side, I don't know what the players. They must be. I'd have a bleeding Catholic priest in. I'd have everyone in to bless the ground. I'd have a dog to piss on every goalpost and sign something, because right now
we lack leaders, though, don't we, on the pitch?
No,
like when you've got Branthwaite after their first goal talking to the other players, trying to get the message a point. Branthwaite,
there isn't any leaders.
There's no leaders on the pitch at all. There's no one out there actually grabbing older people going, what are you doing? Why aren't, like, when that second goal went in, why? Well, if the case is, why didn't someone go to Michael Lenko? What the fuck are you doing? What's going on?
I think McNeil shouted, but he was 20 yards away.
No, but that's the point.
But I'd be going, well, where were you?
Because
I've got two men.
That's the point. There's no leaders on the pitch. So you've got nobody. Got Dom saying something to Pickford. Well, it's like, big deal. It's like, where are the leaders on the pitch? Where's the captain? It's great steaming into a 50-50 and winning and blah, 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 but where are these players when you actually need them?
It's so frustrating, though, because you've seen at Brentford the week before and Villa on Wednesday, the intensity. Why is that intensity not there at home? Why is it?
Because of the manager. He sets them
I don't know, though.
But that's how he sets them up.
No, I know, but like I said to you, I play football, right?
I know, but
whatever level, right? But no one ever told me how to play the game.
Premier League football, this is what they do
now.
No,
but good. I spoke to Jamie Carragher. Carragher was like, never ever listen to a bleeding manager.
It's a different generation. These kids are brought up like robots, and all the way through their career now, they're just robots. You listen to anybody who's playing the game now, everything. It's like the Pep Guardiola thing. You might score from something, but it's not something I told you to do. These players now are like robots. Everything is done for them. There's no off the cuff stuff.
No.
That's why we don't have. But that's why we don't have players like that. We don't have these players for anyone anymore who do things off the cuff. Everything is managed and everything is.
But I don't think we are in the final third, Pet. I don't think our attacking players are.
I know.
I think it's when you look at it. It does seem to be just toss the ball in and hoping you...
By the way, if people genuinely don't think that football clubs work on set pieces all week against the opposition and know where they are, like Baz said before, where it's zoning or all that, or who you're picking up, or you have... when you come on and you see the fella with the board saying this is what you're doing and this is all who you're picking up, that's all gets done in the week. So if anyone thinks you just go on the pitch and they go, you mark up like it's Sunday League, then honestly, you don't understand football in the modern era. You really don't. Football now is about gains in the inches. Like Al Pacino said, it's the inches.
They're all to blame for me. The manager, Wone, Stone, and every one of those bleeding players, they're all in it together. You can't go to Brentford and play that way with that intensity. Go to Villa. Doesn't matter if Villa made changes, we made changes, but we had a good intensity about us. We looked like we knew how to create chances at the weekend. we just, even when people, we were sat there going, could be 3-0 up now after 10 minutes. But when you look at it, Dwight McNeil was unlucky in the first couple of minutes. That shot just shaved the post.
But it's not really a chance, is it?
No, it shaves the post. But when you actually look at our chances, Garner needs to hit the one first time, James Garner, with his right foot. When he comes back inside and tries to bend it, it's pathetic. It's Richard Garner Gay gets one roll back to him and that far corner's gate and he hits it the other way. Nonsense. I even think James Garner's headed that at the bar he should have scored with.
Yeah, should have.
Or he should have hit the target. There's others, but we look at the chances in the second half. The only real one I would say we had was Beto's one. And he had, I don't know what he was doing.
He jumped too early.
Yeah, he headed it the wrong way anyway. Should be
There's two. One second one he jumped too early.
Stupid. But there wasn't like we were creating good chances. Because we don't have like players who overlap. We don't have players making runs. We don't try to draw and get in behind.
Look at every time when Jack Harrison come on, it should have been with Patterson.
Yeah.
Because every time he got the ball, but every time he got the ball, he wanted to come inside and he wanted an overlap. Like there was loads of times he was looking round. Yeah. It was like, and again I'll go back to the manager. How can you play a right midfielder, a midfielder at right midfield, and not have an overlap and right back? How can you do that? It's an away game. You understand?
Yeah.
Home games are completely different. You've got to.
Someone said to me, and they weren't saying Dyche out, by the way, but they were just saying he's no good when the onus is on the attacking thing. So everything is playing with your backs to the wall with him, and therefore away, I get it, he's decent away, but at home we are dreadful because we are almost like we don't want the ball. We want to just be up against it and hit them on the break, but you can't do that. Luton were never coming to have the ball at the weekend, ever. It's like us going to Anfield. We're not going to Liverpool in whenever many weeks it is, are we? And going, we're going to have all the ball. We're not like under Martinez. We went there that time and dominated the possession and got done 4-0. It could have been even more. But we're not turning up anywhere and going, we're having the ball. So Luton come to Goodison and we're like, yeah, you can have all the ball. We're sitting in. And if we nick a point today, it's great.
How are Luton ever going to score?
It was only off set pieces. And they scored off 2 set pieces.
Yeah.
And across the last 2 seasons, the Sean Dyche team has won a game where they've had more possession
once. So Jack saying Sean Dyche has only won 1 game of football across 2 seasons when they've had more possession than the other team.
And it was against Everton.
Okay, and there you go. But what I'm saying, right? What I'm saying is, well, it's like the stat last night, isn't it? Marco Silva's won more games at Goodison since March than Sean Dyche has as Everton manager. But the thing about it is, what I'm saying is there has to be a way then that you come up with. Luton were always coming and doing what they were doing, so we do have to go right. But we've got to be on the front foot then. Right. I don't mind them doing it again. I mean, even though we were abysmal against Arsenal, I don't mind them going. They're gonna have the ball. We have to have a way of playing, but
it's dead simple, right? It's dead simple. Sean Dyche is a wartime manager, right? He's a wartime manager. He's the manager who got us out of the stuff we were in when we needed to get tight and win games 1-0. And this is a little bit like what happened with Frank. It becomes a new season and expectations are different. You start from a new place and people, when you're sitting at home, you haven't got, you go in the game and you're thinking, right, started from 0, here we go, here's an opportunity. We've got 2 strikers, we've got 3 wingers, 4 wingers, whatever it is. We've got a couple of decent players. Right, we're starting from 0. Let's go and win games. And he doesn't know how to do it. The same way Frank Lampard didn't know how to do it without making us massively open or playing 5 at the back. This manager does not. So this manager's either got to go back to a situation where we are watertight at home and we play at home like we do away, and we are absolutely playing for clean sheets, and we will get a goal and win 1-0. Or he gets the sack. He doesn't know, and he'll never know because he's too long in the tooth. Unless he brings new coaches in, he'll never ever know how to play attacking football at home. That's simple. That is just a simple fact. So either go back to trying to nick games 1-0 and play and let the opposition have the possession, or sack him. There's no in between for me. There isn't, because he hasn't got the skill set. It's as simple as that. He hasn't got the skill set. He could go to Paris, maybe save his daughter. That's the kind of skill set maybe he's got. But He hasn't got this skill set to be offensive at home. So that's it. So it's pretty pointless having him as the manager unless you're going to get clean sheets every week and be horrible. And we haven't had. Let me just count. Yeah, we haven't had any clean sheets this season.
Mike, someone's put, I don't know how real this is if you know your history, because I just haven't really checked, but I'll read it out because it sounds astonishing. Mike Walker's home record, won 40% of his games, drew 30% and lost 30%. Sean Dyche just won 31% of his home games, drew 8% and lost 61%. He can't have had the worst home record than Walker, surely. And mind you, we never lost 7 and 8, so he probably has. Well, something's got to change, hasn't it? Something's got to change. That's the way it is, isn't it?
By the way, right, and this is the other myth that needs. Well, there's 2 myths, right? Number 1, we haven't got the money to sack him. I'm sure we have.
The club. That's the club's money.
And number 2, yes, we can go through another manager. We can go through as many managers we want till we find the right one. It's as simple as, why hang on to a manager who can't do the job? Now, I'm not saying Sean Dyche can't do the job, but in any aspect, if you get a manager and he cannot do the job you're asking him to do, then in any walk of life, he does not remain the manager. You do not keep a manager in because you think, oh no, but it's only been 9 months.
Well, the Blues says we've created more big chances than 95% of the league.
Matter.
If he's so defensive.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's XG shite again.
But what happens, all I'll say, like, regardless of that, so what happens then, the Blues? What happens? Do we just keep losing games and going, yeah, but we created loads of chances. What do you do with that?
Yeah.
I'm just asking, out of interest, how long do you do that before something has to change? Do you just keep going and go, well, got relegated, but you know what? I think Martinez lost the percentage 4 times, someone said, or 5 times in his Everton career. We lost the percentage having the ball possession thing. So, but we also, one season we had to win 4 games, otherwise we'd have been in trouble.
Can I just tell you? By the way, Jack made an absolute. Just grab Jack's mic. Put that stat you said about XG, about Onana's chance. By the way, don't have to put it on your top. You're not on it. Just tell me that stat about the XG with Onana's chance. By the way.
So with the XG third, Onana's chance, and then Decore's follow-up chance, and then Calvert-Lewin's eventual goal. With the model that tends to go round on Twitter, that account, the XG philosophy, they put the XG up for both teams at the end of the game. The model that they use doesn't count XG for a passage of play. They just judge every chance individually, so I've been told. So when that account puts up at the end of the game, Everton had an XG of 3.5 or whatever it was, and Luton's was less than 1. That's not accurate, because if Onana's chance goes in first, Decore doesn't have his chance, and then Calvert-Lewin doesn't have his chance, that results in a goal. So it doesn't really tell you the full context of the match, does it? It's a useful stat for certain things. You can't really use it to judge who deserves to win.
So you say, like, those 3 numbers were added into Everton's XG, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because so the 3 blocked.
Yeah. So I've been told. I think other XG models won't use the same thing, and other models.
No, but they were 3 separate chances, so they will.
Yeah, but it will cap at an XG of 1 for a passage of play with most models. But apparently the one this account on Twitter uses doesn't do that.
It's like when you say, like, we had 4 attempts, 4 shots on goal, and 3 of them have been blocked on the line, and you put the 4th one in. All 4 chances count. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you'll come away and go, we have 4 shots on target. Well, you have 3 of them the keeper saved, and you tap the 4th one in. So you didn't have them at any other time in the game.
It's like
you have to have the concept. I love
the butterfly effect.
Well, I love the stats thing. That's what I look at before we do the thing. I look at it all and go, what was that like? What quality of chances were that? You can make it look however you want to make it look, and I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, we have to find a way where we're tighter defensively, and we can nick these games. Yeah. We've got to start winning home games. It doesn't matter whether you love Sean Dyche on this side, you hate Sean Dyche on this side, or you're right down the middle. Yeah. The 3 people, or the 3 groups of people, can't disagree that we have to win home games. That's just a fact. If we end up getting relegated, but we've had 197 chances all season, and oh my God, Everton are the best chance creator. If Everton go down, we'll all be crying, won't we? And bleating. So that's got to be sorted. We can't play a home game, lose, play the next one, lose, play the next one, lose, and go, bad loads of chances though, aren't we? Because it doesn't work. That's all right if you've got 3 strikers who get 50 goals each and they're all injured, and you go, we keep doing that when they're back. Oh, we're going to be sound. Yeah. We got to start sorting our home form out. Yeah. It's awful. It doesn't matter if you are Sean Dyche's biggest fan and you think he is a modern day fucking, younger Carlo Ancelotti or whoever, you think he's the greatest manager that's ever graced the earth. If he keeps losing home games, you have to question him.
It's about learning lessons, and now Bournemouth is the place to put it in action. All I know is, in the last 2 home games, just taking them, we never laid a glove on Arsenal. And in the second half on Saturday, it was a disgrace. And I'll tell you why, 2-1 down, going into half-time, you'd expect to be camped in the half. That's what I expect as an Evertonian, by the way. They're my expectations.
Our own,
They're my expectations, is that we live in their half and they don't get over the halfway line apart from...
Especially a team like Luton. Yeah. No disrespect. No, they spent no money. So they are what they are.
They've won the game. They couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Right. I expect, these are my expectations as Evertonians, that we live in that half, and all we do is just keep moving the ball and moving it and finding angles and being patient and creating those chances. No, go long, then let them come out, and then go long, and then let them come out, and then pass it over to Jack Harrison, who's on his own, and no one supports him till the last 10 minutes when he brought Patterson on, and then the same thing happens again, and the same thing happens again, and the same... No. You live in their half and you move the ball and you move them around and you exhaust them. You exhaust them because that's what good sides do. And I'm not saying we're a good side, but at least if you're going to follow a pattern. That's what good sides do. You exhaust them to the point of opening up spaces. You open up the spaces. What you don't do is go long ball, cross, long ball, cross, long ball, cross, long ball, cross, which is absolutely for 5 defenders at the back. We'd love that. We would love...
I still think you can't throw crosses in. You've got to put them in the right areas. You've got to put them in the right areas as well. You don't just toss a cross in.
You've got to beat the first man. But it's variation. It's moving people around.
Joe said we haven't scored a goal from open play at the Gladys Street end since Coleman against Leeds, which was a free goal.
It's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing.
Simon says Longham for the days when Moyes was looking after us.
It's embarrassing.
We've been going downhill ever since he left.
Yeah. Because that man had standards.
And Charles said Lampard had a much worse side than this one.
Lampard shouldn't come into it conversation because he's just...
No, but the only reason I bring him up is that everyone was kicking him, and he had a better record.
Just didn't have the skills. Doesn't have the skill set. He's the kind of manager that if you've got nice players, he'd be all right. Get Winksy on the ball and all that. But he doesn't.
Poor Winksy, he's playing well for Leicester.
Fair play to him. It's got to improve, and Saturday, as I said, if Everton don't win, and then that means Everton have not won any of the first 5 home games against 4 absolute bang average teams, then
I'm worried, right? I am worried because we've played, forget about Arsenal, are brilliant, so take them out, but the other games we've lost, the other 3 games we've lost, Wolves, Fulham and Luton, are against... Those teams haven't been very good, and they're all going to be around us, and we're getting into territory where we're playing the top 10 teams who will all be tough games at home. The only thing that I feel like
those games
might save us, A, they might suit us because we're on a back foot, and B, I don't believe
I don't. Arsenal.
Yeah, but I know. But what I mean is, the only thing that I'm not absolutely distraught about at this moment, but it will get worse the more games you lose, is I still think this squad and team will get much more points than Burnley, Sheffield United and Luton. That shouldn't be a bar, though, that Everton expect. You know what I mean? That shouldn't be the bar. Well, those 3 teams won't get more points than us. That can't be the bar. It can't be. You have to start going. We need to be reaching for higher. And if people come back and go, we haven't got the play, I don't buy into that. I'm sorry. I don't buy into it. Because he keeps saying it himself. So you either believe the manager or you don't. But he says there's good players here. And there is good players here. We went to Villa and Brentford and proved that. You can't roll out against Brentford and put a performance in like that, do the same with Villa, turn up at Goodison and serve up what they've served up so far, and then go, oh, well, it's just the players aren't good enough, because they were good enough last week. So something's got to change. We have to start winning home games. Yeah. It's as simple as that, because we will be in the shit if we don't. We've got Liverpool away after Bournemouth, Liverpool away, West Ham at home. Marvellous.
We've got 4
and Brighton
points.
Away.
4 points in October. It's embarrassing.
So we've got to start winning games, and it's got to be Saturday, and it'll be a tough, horrible game Saturday, because it was when we bleeding needed it, when they had nothing to play for in May. They come to Goodison, and we had to, it was a great strike from Decore to win the game, but they had nothing to play for, and it was difficult. They haven't won a game yet, and they're arriving at Goodison ready. And I heard the Luton manager say, I fancied us today. Luton hadn't won a game. I fancied us today with their home form. How is that a thing?
By the way, can we stop with this, going back to what Baz said earlier about this thing of, the last 3 managers haven't, had a tune out of these players? What players? They're all bleeding brand new.
They're all different.
They're all new.
They're all different.
McNeil's only been here 18 months.
What's been here 18 months?
Harrison's just arrived. Tarkowski's only been here 18 months. Brantwaite's basically, this is his first season.
Beto's just come.
Ashley Young's his first season. Michalenko, coming up to 2 years. Patterson, Beto, Guy. Yeah, Dom scored 20 goals. Decore's only been, Decore, okay. So there's about 3 players in the entire... It's practically a new team that's been built over the last 18 months. This thing again of
it's over the last year.
No, I know.
Onana's only in his second season.
These players have thrown 6 managers under the bus.
Well, someone like Michael Keane and Coleman and Pickford have played under that many, but there's not many now when you look at the team. Dom has been in and out. In fact, I thought Dom was excellent at the weekend, but that's it. We've just got to be simple as we've got to beat Bournemouth at the weekend.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. We've got to, because we've got to get some home form from somewhere. I don't know how we do it, but we've got to, and it's as simple as that.
Well, that's the start on Saturday. It's as simple as that.
So it's mad. It's mad.
There you go. Right, are we set up, Ned, for the More Than a Game? So we're going over to More Than a Game now. We'll be back for the final word live on Toffee TV Premiere in about an hour. So if you want more of this moaning, with added Jack moaning.
No, looking at the game, moaning.
We'll see you later.
Ta-ra.